We are in the midst of election season. Many people are voting for the President of the United States. Many people will vote next week for the President of the United States. We are voting for people who we think that will improve our situation. Many of us are experiencing issues, ups and downs, stresses in life, and we're looking for someone or something to help alleviate those type of stresses and problems. Those who do not have power would like to have power. Those who have power would like to keep it. Those who do not have a status in life want a status in life. And those who have a status in life want to keep that status. Those who are poor want wealth, and those who are wealthy want to keep their wealth. Those who do not have a voice, do not feel that they're heard, want to be heard, want a voice. And those who already have a voice, who are already being heard, want to keep that going. So when we find ourselves in a tough situation, a stressful situation, a oppressive situation, a unjust situation, who do we trust? Who do we put our trust in? Do we put our trust in a man or a woman? Do we put our trust in the blue party or the red party? My argument today is saying neither of those. Our psalmist this morning or today is going to tell us to put our trust in God alone. And he's going to lay out reasons why we should trust God in no matter what situation we find ourselves in. Stay tuned. We're going to have a fantastic lesson. We're going to learn why God is our rock, why he's our fortress, and why he's our refuge. Stay tuned. Thank you for joining me. We're going to have a fantastic lesson today. Hello, my name is Reverend Dr. John W. Wilson III, bringing you the Sunday School lesson for this Sunday, October 27th, 2024. I want to thank you for joining me today. I greatly appreciate it. The title of our lesson is titled, Trust in God Alone. Trust in God Alone. It will come from Psalm 62. So before we get started, I want to invite you to hit the like button, hit the share button. If this lesson blesses you in any kind of way, if you think it will benefit other people, I ask that you share it with a friend. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. That way you'll be notified of weekly lessons that are being put out. So let's get right into this lesson, Psalm 62. One thing I like our journey today, our journey the past several weeks, we've been talking about passages that are not familiar maybe or not as popular as others, but they have a powerful meaning. They have a powerful message from God. And Psalm 62 is no exception at all. This Psalm 62 is written by David. And David is fitting for writing this Psalm 62 because Psalm 62 deals with or gives us hope or lets us know about God's care in the midst of being attacked by our enemies, in the midst of being oppressed, and in the midst of when things are not going your way, when the world seems like it's turning on you, when your friends are few. Psalm 62 speaks to that situation. I believe that David is the best person to write that because David wasn't born into royalty, wasn't rich. He was a shepherd boy of low means, and God raised him up. And at the age of 16, he was anointed king, came the official king of Israel at the age of 30, served for 40 years. He had a lot of ups and downs. He had a lot of people that said they loved him, but really did not love him. He had a lot of people that wanted to bring him down, wanted to attack him, not only externally, but internally also. David went through a lot of stuff. I don't know what point in life that he wrote that. But David is the best person to write this psalm. Is dealing with those who have been oppressed, those who have been attacked by an enemy, those enemies are trying to bring that person down. And let's see what he says, how we ought to respond, who we need to put our trust in. In verse 1, he says, "For God alone my soul waits in silence." So he's in the midst of being attacked. He's in the midst of being conspired against. He's in the midst of an oppressive situation. And he says, "For God alone my soul waits in silence." So what's the first thing he does? He says, I'm going to trust God and wait for God. And I'm going to wait in silence. Okay? For God alone. He says, God, I put my trust in you alone. You are the one and only that can help me in this situation. You are the only one that I put my hope in. You're the only one that I put my faith in, my unwavering faith in. You're the only one that I can trust to get me through this situation or to help me out of this predicament that I'm in. So that's the first thing we ought to do. When we find ourselves being attacked or in some type of situation, we got to realize that our hope, our salvation is from God alone. Look what he says. From God alone, my soul, my innermost being waits in silence. That waits means that you're being patient. Okay? You're waiting for God to speak to you. Are you waiting for God to act on your behalf? You're waiting faithfully. You're putting your trust in him. And one thing I like here, it says, waits in silence. My soul waits in silence. That means that I'm not complaining. I'm not bickering. I'm not venting. I'm just sitting back, trusting God, praying while I wait for God to do what he does best. How many times has God brought us out of a situation where we had to do nothing but wait? Nothing to do but wait in silence. Maybe we needed a job and all we had to do is just wait and be silent and let God work it out. Maybe we had an argument, a conflict with someone and we didn't know how to deal with it. We just wait in silence and let God work it out. That's what this psalmist is doing here. Now, this is a hymn. And David is writing this hymn to people who will find themselves in this situation. This is a congregational hymn that he writes that will be a blessing to generation after generation after generation. So he says the first thing he does, for God alone my soul waits in silence, quietly, faithfully, waiting for God to do his thing. Says here, from him comes my salvation. Why can't he wait in silence? Because he trusts God. Why does he have faith? Because he knows from him comes salvation. So what does salvation mean? Deliverance. For every situation he's in, God will deliver him. God will redeem him, pull him out of that situation. God will rescue him out of that situation. He knows that. He says, for God alone will rescue me from this situation. He's my salvation. Look how much faith and trust that David has. And when he writes this, I don't even imagine that he's recounting the many times that God has delivered him from a particular situation. Many times that he's just sat back and waited and prayed and God worked. And he's thinking about the times where he tried to get ahead of God and do things and it didn't work out. And he's come to the conclusion that what I need to do is just wait on God and do his thing and not get in God's way. A lot of us we get in God's way. We want to move fast. We want to put our trust in something else. We want to get advice from someone else. We want to hear from somebody else. We want somebody else to fight our battle. But David has come to learn God alone. I trust in God alone to fight my battles, to get me out this situation. Look what he says. He elaborates. For him comes my salvation. He says this, he alone, again, is my rock. Only God is my rock. What does rock mean? My power and my strength. God is my unmovable object. He's where my power and my strength resides. Only God alone is my strength and my power. And that's what we have to understand. Many people look at different idols, they look at their wealth, they look at their material possessions, they look at their status in life, they look at the friends that they know, they look at the knowledge that they have. And they believe that that knowledge and all these things is their rock and their salvation, their deliverer. But David says, King David says, no, David had all of that. And he has come to the conclusion through experience and by him knowing God and praising God that God alone is my rock and my salvation. No one else can do what God does. He not only is he my rock and my salvation, he's my fortress. He's my protector. He's my unmovable wall. Unpenetratable wall. He's my protector. I shall not be greatly shaken. I will not be moved. When I put my trust in God, my faith will not fail. I will not move. I'm in a good spot. That's what David's saying. He alone, God alone, the one and only God is my rock. My strength. If you're in a situation, you're looking for strength, if you're looking for power, if you're looking for help, help is in the Lord. Another word for salvation is help. He alone is my rock and my help in time of need. That's what God is. My fortress, my wall of protection, keeps my enemies out. I shall not be greatly shaken. It never fail. I shall not be moved. So now he talks about his experience. Now he's going to talk about, in verses 5 through 7, his attackers. How long will all of you attack a man to batter him? This is David talking in the third person. How long doesn't mean hours, weeks, or things like that. What he's crying out, he's saying, it's been going on for too long. I've been oppressed for too long. I've been battered for too long. I've suffered injustice for too long. How long will all of you attack a man to batter him, to crush him, to beat him down? He has enemies that have come against him for the sole purpose to crush him and bring him down. And these enemies keep going at it and at it and at it and at it. Remember, David was a man of war. Fights all the time, battles all the time. All the time, somebody trying to take him down. Always somebody trying to take him out of, become king in this place. Always turmoil, always having to put out fires. It's just like a leaning wall or a tottering fence. They're battering like you would do a leaning wall, trying to knock it down like a tottering fence, a weak fence. You're just going to keep knocking at it till you knock it down. He says, how long will all of you attack a man to batter him? Okay. He says, the enemies, they only plan to thrust him down from his high position. These attackers are trying to knock him down from being king. Knock him down from being in the position that he's in. Have you ever felt that way? Somebody's coming, maybe on your job, somebody's trying to knock you down, take you out of position. Maybe somebody's trying to hurt you because you're too popular or you're too well known or you're doing a good job or something like that. The only plan to thrust him down from his high position. So these enemies that David has, their sole purpose is to destroy him, to bring him down. He says they take pleasure in falsehood. They lie on him. That could be somebody internally. They lie him on the outside and the inside. Have you ever been lied about? That is not a good thing. That's not a good feeling. And the purpose of lying is to take him down, to discredit him. They bless with their mouth. They bless with their mouth. I mean, they say good words. Oh, David, oh, you're so wonderful. You did a good job, or you spoke so well, and we're blessed to have you, and all those good words. But inwardly, they're cursing. They're trying to take you down. They hate you. They despise you. They want you to fail. That's what David's dealing with. He doesn't know who to trust. You've been in that situation. You don't know who to trust. Everybody's telling you what you want to hear, and you say that just don't sound right. And usually sometimes people tell you what to hear. Some mean it and some don't. Okay? Then he goes back to his own testament, how he deals with that situation. When his enemies attacking him, when he's being cursed inwardly, when he's being flattered falsely, when people are lying to him, this is what he says. For God alone, O my soul, wait in silence. He's going to let God handle his problems. For God alone, O my soul, wait in silence. For my hope is from him. He puts his trust in God only. When enemies come our way, when life deals us a hard blow, when we get the bad news, when anything that comes our way is unpleasant, God alone is our answer. Trusting in God alone is our answer. Oh, my soul, wait in silence. When he says wait in silence this time, he said it in verse 1, but this time it's an imperative. He's saying when they come your way, you are to wait in silence. He is giving them a command to do so. It's not optional. You don't want to act too fast. You don't want to move out of God's will or call yourself helping God. He says you can wait in silence. Why? For my hope is from him. My confidence that the matter will be resolved, that I will be victorious, that justice will take place is from God alone. Only God can do what God does. Why is that? Why is my hope from him? Why is my help from him? Why is my salvation from him? Why is my deliverance from him? He only is my rock and my salvation. He's the only one I put my trust in. He's the only one worthy of my praise, worthy of my trust, worthy of my faith. He's my stronghold. He's my help. He's my rock and my salvation. He's my stronghold and my deliverer. He's my fortress. He reiterates that. He's my protector. I shall not be shaken. He says it again. I shall not be moved. I shall not fail. Then he gives another reason. On God rests my salvation and my glory. On God rests my deliverance and my honor. My deliverance comes from God, and my honor comes from God. It says, my mighty rock, my refuge is God. Again, God is my mighty rock. Can nobody break through that rock? Can't nobody break through that stronghold? Can't nobody break through that from wherever God has in store for you, that deliverance? Enemies don't have a chance. My refuge is God. My safe space is God. Where I'm at my quiet place, where I'm at my most peaceful place, my safest place, my calmest place is found in God. My refuge is God. David is speaking from the heart. He's composing his hymn. His hymn is being sung by the congregation so they'll know when times are tough who they need to go to. Who has the answer to their situation? Who should they trust in? And he's telling us today. Look what he says, verse 8, speaking to the congregation. Trust in him at all times. Don't trust in God some of the time. Or for certain situations, trust in God at all times. What a word of wisdom. Man, if I wish I would have known that when I was 20 years old. Trust and really understood it. Trust in God at all times, old people. Look what he says. Pour out your heart before him. Meaning pray to God earnestly. Tell him all of your troubles. Confide in him. God wants he wants to hear from you. He wants you to confess all your troubles. He wants you to confide in him. He wants you to pray earnestly to him. Trust in him at all times. Oh, people, pour out your heart before him. God is a refuge for us. God is waiting to hear from us, waiting to answer our prayers. He's our safe space. He's our safe place. He's our refuge. He's our safety net. He's our calm in the middle of a storm. God is our refuge. Okay? Look what he says here. Verse 9. Sometimes when we in a tough spot, between a rock and a hard spot, sometimes we look around and we want to put our trust somewhere else. And he's saying, this is what he says here. Those of low estate are but a breath. Those of high estate are but a delusion. Don't put your trust in man. I don't care how low he is, how high he is. Do not put your trust in man. They're just a temporary thought. They're like a breath. They're lightweights. They're like a delusion, something that's not real. Those of low estate are but a breath. Those of high estate are a delusion. Great and small, do not put your trust in them. Great and small, they cannot help you. They have no weight. They're weightless. In the balances, they go up. They go up. They're weightless. They are together lighter than a breath. They have no strength. They have no power. They are not dependable. Man is not dependable. Man is not reliable. They cannot help you with your situation. We're in election time. Yes, we are to vote. But chances are who we vote for cannot really help your situation. Our help comes from the Lord and God alone. That's what he's trying to say. I don't care if they have high status or low status. It's all the same with God. They cannot help you. They are lightweights. They have no power, no strength, no ability. It says, put no trust in extortion. Don't go to evil deeds trying to get yourself out that situation. Don't go on hurting people in order to get out of your situation. Just because they hurt you doesn't mean you got to hurt them. Don't extort people. Set no vain hopes on robbery. Don't become a thief. If you're hungry, don't become a thief. If you don't have anything, don't become a thief. Don't hurt other people. If you happen to become rich, do not set your heart on the riches. Your money cannot get you out of that situation. If money may provide food on the table and all that, but in the real things of life, money cannot help you. Money can't help you with family drama. Money can't help you with a life and death situation. All healing comes from God. All conflict resolution comes from God. Your ability to get the job, you can send 1,000 resumes out there, but the ability to get a job comes from God alone. Everything passes through God. And when we put our money in riches, trust in riches, put our trust in riches, we put our trust in a man or evil deeds, we make a mistake, a grave mistake. Remember, verse 8 says, trust in him at all times. Trust in him at all times. Verse 11, once God has spoken, twice have I heard this. He said, more than once I've heard what I'm about to say. That power belongs to God. In other words, God is the only one that gives strength and power to people. He's the only one that holds the whole world in his hands, that controls all things, that has power to do all things, to make you strong when you're weak, to give you power when you have no power. Only God can do that. Then it says, and that you, God, that you, O Lord, belong steadfast love. God loves us forever and forever. He has an unfailing love, a endless love that he has for his people. For you will render to a man according to his work. What does that mean? That means doesn't mean that we have to work to get God's blessings or his love. What it means is that the work that we do for God validates or gives evidence of our faith and love that we have for him. Those are the type of people that experiences God's love. Those are the type of people who trust in the Lord at all times and trust in God alone. For you will render to a man according to his work. You can look and see how a man lives his life, what he does, what comes out of his mouth, and that will validate whether he's a child of God or not. And that's the type of people that God loves. This is the type of people that this Psalm 62 is speaking about. It's about relationship with God. Well, I hope something I said today has blessed you in some kind of way. It has me. It just reminds me. Sometimes we get caught up in this world. We look at the world, see what's going on, and we run to the news station. We run to our favorite political analysts or our opinion journalists or whatever it is. We run to them and we think that they have the answers. And we're voting next week, and some of us, many of us, and many of the world, of the nation, believes that the person we put in office is going to solve our problems. And I'm here to say is that any problems that are being solved will have to pass through the hand of God. The man or woman that you're voting for does not have the wisdom to solve the world's problems. Doesn't have the power, doesn't have the strength, doesn't have the authority to do so. Sometimes they think they're doing something right, but they're actually doing something harmful. And what David is saying here, don't put your trust in some type of king or president or man and woman. Put your trust in God. He is the one that's able to solve all of our problems. And when he solves a problem, it is solved. It is solved. And so therefore, you and I are to trust in him at all times and trust in God alone. Yes, go and vote. But understand the things that you're facing, the challenges that you're facing, only God can solve them. Not a man, not a woman. Well, I hope something I said today has benefited you some kind of way. If you're a teacher, I hope it has blessed you in your preparation. If you're a student, I also hope that it's blessed you in your studying. I want to say God bless you. I hope you have a great Sunday. I hope you have a great Sunday school. I want to say I can't wait till we talk again next week. God bless you, and I love you much. Have a great, great Sunday.